What is up, everyone? Welcome back for another episode of the Content Creator Showdown. I'm your host, Jedi, aka Caesar the Crowd Pleaser. And on this show, we like to collect a bunch of influencers. They're going to battle it out on the great game of Eternal, not only showcasing their talent and their skills and showing where you can find their content, but also spreading the word about this great game of Eternal that we all enjoy and play. So, without further ado, this is episode 2. You already saw 2 of the guys battle it out. Let's find out who our fighters of tonight are.
Hello, and welcome to the Misplay, where we don't know how to make video intros. My name is Jason, and I am one half of the Misplay podcast. No, really, I've never done this before. This is my first video. I think I just look at the camera. Am I doing it right? This will be the Misplay of the week. Actually, the Misplay of the week was Mark. He took about 75 tries to get his intro right, and I'm hoping, just to do it in less, maybe 60. We've been creating podcasts now for a little over half of a year. We have over 20 episodes, each about 30, 45 minutes each. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter and join our Discord. There's I seen on YouTube, you point somewhere, Jedi, and you're going to put a link this way. Twitter, Discord, that way. I don't know. Somewhere. Jedi's going to do something. I drew Matty Oker in the opening round of this showdown. Not excited about it because I really like Matty. Really great guy. He was just on the Misplay. And win or lose, I don't know. I don't feel good either way. I guess I want him to win? No, I want to win. Yeah, I want to win. But in honor of playing Matty Oker, I'm going to do something for this showdown. I hate wearing hats, but since Matty Oker is such a big Royals fan, I'm gonna rep my SF Giants hat while we play. So let's go. Let's play. So the deck that I'm bringing to the showdown is Nurse Combo, but what's ironic about that? Well, I don't know if it's ironic. Nobody knows what ironic means. Thank you, Alanis Morissette. What's really weird about that is I was actually watching Matty Oker's stream, and his opponent was playing a Blood Nurse Bear Arms combo in draft, and I'd never seen it before. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And I said, I wanna play this in the showdown. That seems fun. So before I even knew I was playing Matty Oker, I had decided that I was going to play this deck. And so I went to Eternal Warcry and I looked for some Pauper versions. I brought one back and Mark and I started doing some testing. We did some games against red deck wins, some mono green decks. We played some Praxis matchups. And this was the deck that we ultimately settled on. And we're going all in on the combo. And so the combo is Blood Nurse, which pay 2, twist, create a 1/1 bat with flying and lifesteal. But normally it would kill the Blood Nurse. But with Bear Arms, you can keep going because it pumps it. And so you can't create an infinite amount because you're limited based on your power. But if this goes unchecked, you can start pumping out 1/1 flying lifesteal bats, which is just a game winner. And so it's neat. To fill out the deck, we've got 4 Grenadin drones. We have 4 Oni Ronins. The Oni Ronins could maybe be cut. It was the last card in the deck. It's just a really good unit. Obviously, Oni Ronin, Warcry. It pumps Blood Nurse a little bit, but it doesn't help me get to my combo or put my opponent off of his game plan. So at best, maybe it eats a Char or a Torch. 4 Lazy Firemains, which is another way to trigger with Bear Arms. It's kind of like a mini combo. It creates a large unit very quickly. So it's kind of that's plan B. We also have in the deck a split between Corrupted Umbran and Stonescar Outfitters. I didn't want 4 Outfitters. It just didn't feel right. And so what I thought I'd want is a little bit of lifesteal back. For spells, I've got 4 Combust, 4 Torch, 3 Devour, 3 Vara's Favor, 4 Extract, again, fighting those other aggressive decks. The Scout's nice on it as well. 4 Scavenge, which is really, it does obviously trigger with bear arms, but more importantly, it gets me Justice Sigil. And then Four Schemes, this is actually Mark's idea to play Four Schemes so that I can find the piece that I need. And it made a lot of sense in testing. Power, one of the interesting decisions I had was coin or waystone. And what I decided was I didn't want more depleted power. In fact, I wanted more units. So the waystone gives me a grenadin, which I can sack with combust or I can devour it. We also realized that we didn't need all of the banners. The only banners that we really needed were the Justice banner, so Rakano banner and Argenport banner, and of course 4 tokens. So that's the deck. Goal is to protect your Blood Nurse and be able to pump out 1/1 units.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Mediocre. I stream on Twitch at Twitch TV/Mediocre. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, all at 7 p.m. Central Time. I'm also on YouTube and Twitter at Mediocre. I've been streaming for about 6 months now. Pretty much only streaming Eternal, a few other games as well, but for the most part Eternal. I've been playing Eternal since the tail end of set 1, and that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say. All right, this is my Popper deck. I call it Popper Second Amendment. In case you don't know, the Second Amendment in the U.S. Constitution is the right to bear arms. So this is a deck based around the card Bear Arms. When you play a unit, it gets +1/+1. And we're trying to combo that with a couple different cards, the main one being Blood Nurse, which whenever you pay 2 to twist it, you play a 1/1 flying lifesteal vampire bat. And if you have bear arms on it, Blood Nurse twisting makes a unit. So it goes from a 2/2 to a 3/1, and then it makes a bat, which pumps up the bear arms, which makes it a 4/2. And you can do that again for as many power that you have, or like amount of times you can twist. So if you have 4 power, you can twist it twice. You have 6 power, you can twist it 3 times, etc. So you can just flood the board with a bunch of bats, and that's a really potent combo in a format like this. We also have Lazy Firemain that combos very well with it. You can play the Firemain and then follow it up with the Bear Arms on it, and the Renown gives you 2 1/1s. So this turns into, let's see, it's a 4/3 when you first put it on. It gets 2 more, so it's a 6/5 as soon as you put the Bear Arms on it, which is a pretty big beater, especially if you can curve out turn 3, turn 4, and swing with it for 6 on turn 4. It's pretty strong. And then we just have other ways to back that up. So things that make extra units, like Grenadin Drone, you get an extra 1/1 with it. Scavenge gives you a bunch of 1/1s that can make this absolutely massive. And then we just have some kind of aggressive filler units, because this is essentially an aggro deck. We've got Oni Ronin, just a really strong 1-drop. One of my favorite cards of all time, honestly. I used to play this a lot back in set 1. And then we got Blurry Chaser, which is just a really strong twist common. It's not that good with Bear Arms, honestly, but it's just very good at setting things up, letting you scout and make sure you have what you need on top. And having Quick Draw lets you swing in pretty aggressively, which is very nice. We also have Obsidian Golem, which is just another way to get a weapon to put on the different things we want to twist, so it can make twist better, and just a 2/2 for 2, which is very reasonable. And then we also have Stonescar Outfitter to make all of our little dorks that go wide even better by adding to their attack. And it's relatively cheap. You pretty much only ever play it for 4, sometimes for 5 if you really need to block with it or something like that. But for the most part, shifting it for 4 and becomes a very potent threat when you have a bunch of other little dudes on the board. And then for another backup weapon to put on Firemain and just in general to help with twisting, we got the Backpacker's Machete. Also a Scout, which is very nice. Just a pretty good weapon in general, but we only have 3 of those. And then for interaction, we've got 3 Char, 4 Torch. I mean, it's the best card in the game, and the fact that it's a common makes it probably the best card in Pauper as well. And then we got Mob Rule, because we're generally going wide, and then of course the Scavenge. And the nice thing about Scavenge is it does help fix for the Justice. It is pretty much just a Justice Splash for the Bear Arms, and everything else is Fire and Shadow. So that is it for the non-power cards, and then we just have pretty much your regular cards that you can get multiple influences with. You got the token, and then a few different banners to shore up the power base, and then a whole bunch of sigils. And that is Pauper Second Amendment.
Wow, what are the chances that two streamers both ended up with the same deck to battle against each other that they saw on the stream live together? Well, those kind of coincidences will happen occasionally here in the Content Creator Showdown. So, without further ado, let's find out which combo deck ends up reigning supreme in the mirror match. Parmalee keeps an opening hand of Fire Sigil, Shadow Sigil, Devour, Torch, Scavenge, Grenadin Drone, and an Oni Ronin. Mediocre keeps that opening hand of Token of Ambition, Rakano Banner, Stone Scar Outfitter, Blurry Chaser, Scavenge, Grenadin Drone, and Blood Nurse. Mediocre is on the play, so he starts us off. Mediocre starts us off by playing a Token of Ambition, selecting Shadow Influence, and passing the turn to Parmalee. Parmalee plays a Fire Sigil, playing an Oni Ronin, having the first unit on the board, and passes it back to Mediocre, who then plays a Blood Nurse, allowing the Rakano Banner to come into play undepleted, following it up with a Grenadin Drone and passing it back to Parmalee. Parmalee plays a Shadow Sigil, using Vara's Favor to not only remove the Blood Nurse, but also draw his third power, and attacks with the Oni Ronin, triggering a Warcry, and is swiftly blocked by Mediocre by the Grenadin. Mediocre plays a Fire Sigil, followed up by a Blurry Chaser, twist once, making it a 2/2 and scouting to the bottom, attacks with the Grenadin Drone, and passes it back. Parmalee plays Shadow Sigil, followed up with a Grenadin Drone of his own, and passes the turn, leaving 2 power up. Mediocre plays his 4th power, having all 3 influences online and 4 undepleted power, and plays a shifted Stone Scar Outfitter, pumping the team and attacking with both Blurry Chaser and Drone. Parmalee decides to chump block with both units, and before damage is done, playing Devour on the Grenadin Drone to draw 2 cards. The Grenadin Drones trade off, and the Blurry Chaser's left exhausted. Parmalee plays a Granite Waystone for no value, and follows it up with the Corrupted Umbran. Parmalee plays a Bear Arms on the Blurry Chaser, pumping it, followed up by a Scavenge, making the Blurry Chaser a 7/6 quick draw and quickly attacks in. Parmalee decides not to block, and Mediocre passes the turn. Parmalee attacks with the Corrupted Umbran, triggering Berserk, allowing it to get in twice, gaining him 6 life and dealing 6 to Mediocre, making the life totals 19 to 26. The follow-up is a Scavenge for a Justice Influence, making 3 rats, and a 2/2 Blood Nurse thanks to the earlier Warcry trigger. Mediocre draws a Lazy Firemane, twist Blurry Chaser once, making it an 8/5, playing the Lazy Firemane, pumping the Blurry Chaser yet again to a 9/6, twist for the final power, making it a 10/5 and leaving the card on top, and then attacks with the entire team, being 3 pumped rats and a 10/5 Blurry Chaser. Parmalee decides to not block and takes the full 16 damage, going down to 10. At the end of Mediocre's turn, Parmalee torches the Lazy Firemane, leaving no blockers on Mediocre's side, then proceeds to play the Bear Arms on the Blood Nurse, assembling the combo and activating the twist on the Blood Nurse twice, making it a 7/3. 2 bats on the field, and then decides to attack with the Corrupted Umbran and all 3 rats for 6, making the life totals 13 to 13. Mediocre attacks with the team, and the 10/5 Blurry Chaser as well as a rat are blocked by 1/1 life-stealing Flying Bats. In response, Mediocre plays a Mob Rule, killing the Corrupted Umbran before damage is dealt, and he loses a rat. Both the bats bite the bullet as well as 1 rat, and the 10/5 Blurry Chaser stays alive, making the life totals 13-8 in Mediocre's favor. Parmalee decides to go ahead and activate the combo 3 more times, making 3 more bats, and making the Blood Nurse a 13/3, With no blockers, he alpha swings and Mediocre has to call it in and concede. Alright, for game 2, Mediocre keeps an opening hand of Shadow Sigil, Stone Scar Banner, Rakano Banner, Oni Ronin, Scavenge, Bare Arms, and Lazy Firemane. Parmalee is on the play this game and keeps an opening hand of Shadow Sigil, Granite Waystone, Varus Favor, Blood Nurse, Double Bare Arms, and a Combust. Parmalee starts us off by playing a Shadow Sigil, leaving the Blood Nurse in hand, passing the turn. Mediocre plays a Shadow Sigil, passing back. Parmalee plays the Granite Waystone and passes. Mediocre plays the power, plays an Oni Ronin, sending it back to Parmalee, who then plays a Shadow Sigil, using the Varus Favor to take out the Oni Ronin and sending it back to Mediocre. Rakano Banner hits the field, sadly being depleted, allowing Mediocre not to cast anything, and sends it back to Parmalee. Parmalee plays a Shadow Sigil, and not wanting to open the Blood Nurse, sends it back to Mediocre. Mediocre plays another banner, plays a Lazy Firemane, who is quickly torched by Parmalee at the end of his turn. Shadow Sigil for Parmalee, and still nothing doing. Mediocre plays a token and passes. Parmalee plays a Granite Waystone and passes, and I'm starting to see a trend. Power and passes from Mediocre, and a scheme from Parmalee might actually break parity here. Let's see. Only picking up a torch. Char for Mediocre, plays a banner, and decides to pull the trigger on the Scavenge, putting 3/1/1 not able to block rats into play. Parmalee draws a Scavenge of himself, and this mirror match is literally continuing down the mirror road. Power from Mediocre, and he plays a Bare Arms on a rat and swings with it in a bold move. Parmalee decides not to block, taking 4, dropping down to 22. And at the end of Mediocre's turn, Parmalee devours a rat, drawing 2 cards and gaining 2 life. Finally, seeing some gas, Parmalee draws a Lazy Firemane, a Blood Nurse, and a Stone Scar Outfitter. Plays the Outfitter shifted, protecting it from removal and pumping the 2 rats. Mediocre chars one of the rats, trying to conserve their life total, having nothing but removal in hand, and simply takes 2 from one of the rats. Parmalee plays Combust on their remaining rat, killing Mediocre's rat with the Bare Arms on top of it, and sends it back over to Mediocre, who plays an Oni Ronin, attacking with the 2/1/1 rats that can't block anyways, getting in for 2, making the life totals 23-22 in Mediocre's favor. Parmalee finally pulls the trigger, playing the Blood Nurse, immediately followed up by a Bare Arms on it, and twist once, making the Blood Nurse a 5/2 and a 2/1 flying lifesteal bat thanks to the Outfitter. Mediocre immediately attacks with Oni Ronin, and Parmalee decides to block with the bat that is swiftly met by a mob roll from Mediocre, keeping the Oni Ronin alive and getting the Warcry trigger. Mediocre passes it back to Parmalee, which then proceeds to twist the Blood Nurse a full 3 times, getting max value for it. Parmalee swings with the now 11-2 Blood Nurse, taking Mediocre down to 12 and passes it back. Mediocre plays the power, sending it back, and Parmalee decides to once again just full out twist the Blood Nurse, flooding the board with 2/1 flying lifesteal bats. He has the removal spell for the only blocker being the Oni Ronin, and Mediocre has to yet again concede to the overwhelming flow of flying bat army, giving the game, set, and match to Parmalee. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta say, that was one heck of a mirror match, especially that game 2. The patience that Parmalee displayed holding off on that Blood Nurse that he had in his opening hand all the way to the very end, till he knew he was able to either protect it or capitalize on its value immediately, showed some real skill. Congrats on Mediocre for putting up quite a bit of fight, and yeah, I think it was really interesting to see the 2 takes on a similar strategy and how it played out. So speaking of these great guys, they do create more content of this great game Eternal that we encourage you to tune in, watch, share, and consume. So you can catch a Mediocre live on Twitch at Mediocre at twitch.tv/Mediocre. Mediocre. Just to make sure you guys got it. And of course, Parmley from the Misplay Podcast. You can find them both on iTunes, and follow them at Twitter so you can find out where they're going live on streaming as well as new episodes. So that's going to do it for the show, guys. That does move Parmley up to round 2 of the winner's bracket and Mediocre to the not so winning bracket. But tune in to the next episode to find out what other contestants we have on the show battling out to be the top content creator of Eternal. Until next time, I am Jedi, and happy gaming.